Would you please? Hello and welcome to another Repot with me video. Today, this is going to be Aroid edition. I do have 3 plants that I want to repot. Well, actually, no, that's untrue. I have 5 plants that I want to repot, but 3 that I will actually repot because I decided no. I'm not doing the rest of them. It's too much effort. One of the first plants that I will repot is this absolutely beautiful Philodendron Billietiae. I call it Billietiae. I don't call it. Let me check the accurate botanical name. I do think this is pronounced Philodendron Billietiae, but whatever. We will just call him the Bill. The big Bill. It's not so big. This could potentially be a great thumbnail photo. He is a wonderful philodendron that I have had for a year now. When it arrived, it was a 2-leaf cutting, if I'm not mistaken. So 1 leaf was this, and then I can't remember. I think this was the 2nd leaf. Or no, this was the 2nd leaf. This was the first one, excuse me. So it did grow quite a bit, and I take absolute 0 credit for this because this plant was staying with my friend, Yelena, and it's been staying with her since, I believe, September of last year. It is a shared plant, but I'm not going to propagate it, though now I see I can. I'm not going to because I absolutely love it. I just wanted to repot it because... do I even need to say why? I want to put it in a hanger because I think it would look really nice hanging like that in my window, but just from the opposite side. I think it potentially would look even nice on a wall there. I have 2 more that I need to repot. They are kind of on that rotsta in the back. We will get to them. And I also wanted to talk to you about kind of what is going on at the moment, and that is the plant prices falling, dropping, hitting the ground very hard, which I love, and some of the aroids that are on my wish list, which is crazy to say because I also will record a video tomorrow, tomorrow, where I actually want to tell you what philodendrons or what aroids I want to get rid of because I want to downsize, but I also have a wish list of what I want to get. Makes no sense. Shh, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Anyways, we are off to repot Philodendron Billietiae. We are going to start by unpotting this philodendron. I do love these very long leaves, long and narrow, very leathery. Absolutely adore them. Very sticky too from extrafoliar nectaries. Please calm down. But I wanted to talk about some aroids that, quite honestly, I didn't think I would be able to get, and I'm not going to get them now. One of those looks very similar to Philodendron Billietiae. Yes, it is Philodendron spiritus-sancti. Now, this plant was in the absolute astronomical numbers. It still is, do not get me wrong. It is the last that I have seen for a small, well, not even that small plant. It was a decent size. Was $400 or euros in Europe, and I do believe that by the end of this year we can expect that to fall to 200, because at the beginning of this year what I saw were small plants that were going for, I think, 800 or 900. It was maybe in February or March. Very quickly that just fell to 400, and I do believe that by the end of the summer or maybe in fall, you'll be able to get one for $200 or under $200, which I do think is probably going to be the lowest price. I don't think we're going to see that go for, $20. But I do think it's going to be somewhat affordable. Obviously, it is the tissue cultured version, and a lot of these plants, or I think all of them, are tissue cultured versions, and I don't really care about that. I am just happy to see that they are becoming more affordable. Obviously, I wouldn't call a €400 plant affordable, but if you have a large plant collection, it's not that difficult to get there. If someone has 230 HOYAs, which might be or might not be me, you can cut 15, 20, even 30, depending how much you want to sell them for, and there you go. You are at that price. Obviously, if you don't have a big collection or if you haven't been collecting, but you only want that plant, it may be a big of an investment. But if you have a lot of plants and if you're willing to cut some of them, I don't see why not. typically I don't really spend new money on plants. In the past, obviously I did, but now I usually just take some cuttings and or propagate some plants. So that's the plant number 1 that I want to get. And I would, if I were you, for any of these plants, I would hold until the end of fall, or to the beginning of fall, excuse me. Because what I saw last year is, because I was buying some plants in summer, I was thinking they were a great deal because the prices were not that high. The prices just dropped even towards the fall. And I think a part of the reason there is these shops, they maybe don't want to keep all of these plants during the winter because we all have less light. It's just not very convenient. So, it's better to do a sale than to keep them until next year. So I would say that would be the best time to get some of these. I am going to have to take this one out of the pot now. Did not even wash this pot. No one cares, right? I do hope you come out of this pot willingly. Oh, the next one is Philodendron patriciae, or patriciae. Philodendron patriciae. I love philodendrons with long leaves, if you didn't notice. I do have philodendron, I don't know if you see him right here. This is Philodendron esmeraldense. Kind of has that Philodendron patriciae vibe, but Philodendron patriciae looks much better. Last year, that plant was $300 for a small plant. Now it is $30 for a small plant. And I think I saw a big one for like $80 or $90. So I'm very glad I did not buy Philodendron patriciae because it was on my list last year and I was really considering it, but it was just way too expensive. Ooh, okay. Well, nice. We have roots. I do think I might be getting one. The next one that I want is Philodendron, going to butcher the name, is Philodendron joepii. Philodendron joepii, I just love those leaves. I love a weird looking philodendron. I have nice looking philodendrons, right? I have Philodendron, what's her name? It's behind the camera. Splendid. I have Splendid, Gloriosum, Glorious. All of those have very, I would say, common leaves. Oh, wait, you know what? Wait, I'm gonna show you something. Because this beast here, I have Philodendron el-chocorant here. I'm gonna show you for the camera. I got this last year as a small plant and now it's a big plant. And I think this was cut down 3 or 4 times. So, I have nice looking philodendrons with nice, very conservative leaves, very heart-shaped, very velvety, all of that. And this also needs to be repotted, but let's not get too delusional with what we can achieve in one day or 1 year. What I am looking to get, because I really adore these with kind of narrow or funky leaves, like I have Philodendron Jerryhorn. It's one of my favorites. I love Philodendron Jerryhorn so much. It's outside now. Absolute beauty. It's really, I don't know why people don't have it. I think everyone should have one. I just love weird leaves. So I know that's not everyone's vibe necessarily, but it's definitely my vibe. So I am looking to get that one, and that one I don't really know. I think it was in the thousands or close to 1,000, the price that I saw in the fall of last year. When we got TC plants this year in Europe, I think they started off, first of all, I think there was this confusion about it being spiritus. So it was, I think, priced close to 1,000, but it quickly dropped to 400 when they realized it's not spiritus, that it's something else. I saw this mix up on several web stores, and now it is 100, and I do think it will fall even more. It doesn't seem to be everyone's cup of tea, understandable, and please do not buy it. I do not want you to buy this plant because if you don't buy it, the price will fall, and then I can get it for like 50. I have noticed that quite a few European plant stores are going out of business, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why, because some of these stores that I've seen going out of business have also been expanding last year, also towards the fall. I don't know if the profit margins are in there for them. I think that a lot of people are, when I say a lot of people, I think a lot of people who sell plants, who maybe their living or livelihood depends on it, are very disappointed at how low the prices are. They're ridiculously low. Amazing, it's amazing. You can get El Choco Red for, gosh, 20 euros, I think. It's wonderful. You can get so many plants for really, really little money. So that's great. We love that. We want to see more of that. The prices have been very astronomical, and I didn't really talk about prices that much. It's just, it was a topic for non-debate, wasn't it? But now I think when the prices are okay, we can talk about that and how what happened there in 2020 and 2021. Were we okay? It's funny to me because this wasn't true in the past. Well, it wasn't true from 2020 to 2022 or to the beginning of 2022, but I always claimed HOYAs are more expensive, and they are. They're extremely expensive in my opinion, because you get a couple of nodes, but that is because they are not easy to find. There are people who grow HOYAs, obviously, but not a lot of people are going to cut theirs. A lot of people are doing trades, which is great. We love that too. But they're just not so widely distributed like philodendrons. So obviously the prices are higher for them, and they're not mass produced. They are produced in somewhat large quantities in Thailand, and we do get those. That's how collectors get them from Thailand, but it's, I think, nowhere near the scale on which philodendrons are produced. So that's why I really think that I don't really see HOYA prices coming down that much. I think for those that have been inflated, yes, some of the silver HOYAs have come down to their, I think, previous price. For example, HOYA undulata in 2019 was 60 euros for a cutting, and it went up there to 120, 150, depending where you look, but now it's back to 60. And I know in Thailand you can get a HOYA undulata for, 20, 30 euros, possibly even less, but obviously, like, when you import from Thailand, it doesn't mean that they will travel always well, right? Anyways, I don't know, maybe we cannot really compare prices from Thailand, or like even when you go to Indonesia. I'm just gonna say, like, people in Thailand oftentimes import actually from Indonesia. It doesn't even pay off for them to grow everything themselves, but they import plants from Indonesia, so you can imagine how cheap plants are in Indonesia. Importing is a different thing. I haven't really done any imports, at least not from Asia, because I am just, I'm too much of an anxious person. The anxiety, it destroys me when I import from Europe, and that's just, I refresh million times. I get really crazy checking that package, so I'm definitely not gonna do any imports. I can see that this is looking great. The roots are looking great. I entangled the roots a bit. I didn't do too much detangling. And I'm actually going to put slow release fertilizer. This is one of the changes that I'm making. I'm using more slow release fertilizers with aroids. I got Osmocote. I'm going to tell you exactly which one. I feel that I do not know where this is going. Hence, I'm not going to do anything about untangling this. Where have you gone to? Who do you connect to? What is your journey? Okay, well, that's a root. This was a 13 centimeter pot. We are now going to move him to this, and this is, I think, 15. It doesn't say what size, but I think this is 16, maybe. Because these are 15. These are 17. Oh, wow. So I am repotting it to a 15 centimeter pot. 15 centimeter pot. This is 17. So I put my HOYAs in 17 centimeter, not 15. So we jumped from, oh, that's a big jump. What are we gonna do? Anyways, we're going to this size. I'm going to just mix in a bit more potting mix. I have some left over for my HOYAs, so there is perlite, there is some pumice, and I actually don't really care. There's now some moss. I'm going to use all of that. I'm going to add just a bit more cocoa peat, and I'm going to add perlite and some bark. This little baggie, it's Osmocote. It's 15 plus 9 plus 12. I think this is standard, SD for standard. So I'm going to put my philodendron, Billy, Etiae, into this pot. And let's just hope he fits. Oh, you know what? It would be great if I push that root also back in. I just realized that that aerial root is happening. So this is about 1 liter. I think they say 3 grams per liter. And I have just, I take it a bit in between my fingers, and basically that's enough. I measured it out using a spoon, and then I put it between my fingers to just get a feel for it, because I was like, I'm not gonna measure this again. And now I eyeball it. And we'll see how that goes. Osmocote is supposed to be very good. A lot of people who use Osmocote do have nice things to say about it, so we'll see. I'll report back on how it goes. It's funny because it's like, do you want them to grow, Miro, or what? Clearly, I do want them to grow. I complain how big they get, but I also want them to grow. I'm just a complex persona. It's very difficult for me to know what I want. Going to put this moss back on top. It just keeps the moisture in for a bit longer, which I do appreciate. We love ourselves some moisture. We do not want to water all the time. And now Philodendron Red has been upgraded to a larger pot in which you will promise to stay for the next 2 years. Now we have 2 other plants. One of them is in pon, and it hasn't been doing the best. It's been doing fine, but I grew the same plant for sale in regular mix, and the plant that I just shipped yesterday or the day before looks better than the plant I left for myself. So the next plant I wanted to repot is this Monstera epidemicsound, or I think this is actually a skeleto. This plant has been growing in pon, and I just don't see that she is as happy as she could be. This plant comes from my mother plant, from my and my friends. My friend and I. Just reverse the words and it will be fine. My friend and I shared the mother plant, and this was a cutting with 2 leaves, and it grew a 3rd leaf here. This was months ago, and in that time, I think when I took the cutting from the mother plant, it had 2 leaves. We left a base, and we sold 1 middle cutting. So that was the first time when it was cut. Since then, the base of the plant grew more. I think it grew 2 or 3 more leaves. This was still growing this 1 leaf. And we cut it again and sold that too. And there was, again, 1 small part of the base that could grow again, and it grew beautifully. And that grew 2 more leaves. And 1 of those actually grew in my home. 1 with my friend, 1 grew actually in my home. It was beautiful, and this plant did nothing. It just is growing a vine. It's not doing anything. I don't think it loves the pon. I don't know if you have it in pon. If you do let me know what your experience has been. If you ask me, awful experience growing this in pon. Honestly, it could be the higher light, because I kept this in my grow tent, and I do be having a higher light there. As you can see, the roots are fine. So what I started saying is that for whatever reason, this doesn't do so well in pon, and I'm going to move it to an organic mix, because the plant, the one that I just told you about that thrived, they were in organic mix. You know, this is true for some plants. They just don't do well in pon. I know that Syngoniums absolutely do not love pon at all. So I'm going to repot her, and it will stay outside of my tent because maybe it was getting too much light. I'm going to take a look at my filthy phone and the list. The next one that I want, maybe, is Philodendron Red Anderson variegated. That one is now around 150. It used to go, a cutting of it used to go for 2 or 250. Now a plant with 4, I think 5 leaves is 150. I don't know if I'm going to get it. By the way, none of these are like must-haves now. Maybe in fall, maybe next year, maybe in 5 years, I don't know. You know, those are the plants that I've been eyeing for some time. Now with Red Anderson, I'm not really sure if I want it. I'm kind of interested, but also I had Philodendron, I still have Philodendron domesticum variegated. I absolutely hate that plant, and it hates me back. I have Philodendron Florida Beauty variegated. Actually, Florida Beauty is always variegated. I do like that plant, but the love, it's kind of like unrequited, if I have to tell you. Hopefully she will love me. You know, it's fine. It grows really well. The issue is it sometimes pushes out full yellow leaves, and then it will push out a beautifully variegated leaf. It's just very unstable variegation. And I have come to really just like philodendrons like Bono and Philodendron Ring of Fire. I have one from my friend Alex. It's a beautiful, cute, small plant. I love it. It's adorable. They have really a lot more stable variegation, and actually I think I'm getting Philodendron giganteum variegated, or giganteum? I think it's in Latin giganteum, but whatever. I'm getting the variegated version of that one. It's absolutely stunning and it's stable. So I don't think that Red Anderson variegated is stable, so I may not end up getting it. I don't know. I'm kind of, you know, Florida Beauty and Domesticum, especially Domesticum, has been so unstable, like poster child for instability. Awful. Absolutely awful. It's time to pot this one. I think we fit. Absolutely. While I do that, I just want to take a look at the list again. Those are all the philodendrons. I do want to get Syngonium Red Spot Tricolor. This plant was very, very hot and wanted last year. I know some people who got it and they deeply regret it because it was nearly, I think it was around 700, 800 euros for a small plant. And now that price is around 120. And that's, in my opinion, still too expensive for a Syngonium. They were not my favorites in the past, but I do love them now. I think they are beautiful. And I really, since putting them in cocoa peat and perlite, actually, that's when my mind changed, because they were just not thriving in pond for me. They were kind of doing okayish in semi-hydro, but I was putting them in too much light, so I kind of figured out the light to put them in lower light, and they were starting to get beautiful. And then I'm like, oh my god, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to get even better at this and put them in pond. It didn't work. So that's about Syngoniums. Now, Anthuriums. I have 6 Anthuriums on my list. Oh gosh. We're gonna fly through those because we only have one more plant to repot. I am a big Anthurium fan, and I have tried some Anthuriums last year, and I loved some of them, and I absolutely hated some of them. And you know, the ones that I love, I really love, and they look gorgeous. This is the first leaf that it grew. It's kind of nasty, and these are the old leaves. They're kind of nasty too. This one was very nice until my light broke, and my dimmer broke, and it's just, I didn't know. I was keeping it on the lowest setting, and my light broke. But, you know, the dimmer actually itself broke, and it upped the light, and it burned. But this new leaf is looking great, isn't it? Isn't it? I absolutely adore this Anthurium, and that's, you know, when I like them, I really, really, really like them, and when I hate them, I absolutely hate them. This one needs to be repotted. He's very unstable in the pot. I have pallidiflorum. It's a pendant type Anthurium, and I love them. I love those long leaves. They remind me of epiphytic cacti, which I also love, but I don't grow them anymore. I used to grow them. Actually, I do have them outside. Anthurium pallidiflorum is around 100 euros for a super large plant. And I actually don't think I'm going to get it. I want it, but I'm not going to get it. It's absolutely ridiculously huge. I don't know where I would put one. Unless I get rid of some plants. And obviously it's gonna hang. It could actually probably hang here. No, do not envision it. Do not envision it. Stop it. If I find space for it, I said I'm not gonna get it. No, no. I repotted this one, Sarah. This is done. I hope she will thrive better. We are not getting Anthurium pallidiflorum. We're not finding space for it, Miro. The next one of the Anthuriums is this. I saw this hybrid of regale and luxurians. My Anthurium regale is an absolute B word. I hate it. This one leaf that I was waiting for, it's next to me. I think I'm gonna show you with my phone. This leaf that was growing in the tent clearly did not have some space, and it started to brown here. And it gave me this leaf, which I hate this leaf. I hate it so much. I waited for that leaf for a very long time, and I hate it. I don't like this plant. It's very slow. It's only able to hold on to one leaf, it seems, for a lot of people. There must be a trick to hold on to more leaves, but for a lot of people it's only one. So I think I'm gonna get rid of that one, but luxurians is supposed to be a bit hardier from what I hear. I actually want an Anthurium luxurians. It's on my wish list too. But this cross that I saw is gorgeous. It is quite expensive, so I might wait for the price to drop. For my experience and from what, you know, when I've been looking around, the prices on some of these Anthurium crosses don't really go down. It's kind of like one-off. You know, you get this cross one time and they don't offer it again. So, I don't know. We'll see. Or at least that's been my experience. Now, Anthurium luxurians is also on my wish list, and last year that plant was so expensive. It was, I think, 300 euros for a small plant. Now it is 80, and I think it's going to go down even more. It's a really beautiful plant that I would love to have. I will definitely see if I could fit it somewhere here, but I don't think we're getting rid of anyone there, so I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna put anything in the tent anymore from Aroids. I do have some crawlers at this moment in the tent, and I think those are probably gonna leave me willingly or unwillingly. I do have some Anthuriums. I do have a couple of Anthuriums in the tents that I need to get rid of. I have 3 forgettias. I really need to forget about forgetties. I have one here. It's growing a new leaf. The next plant I want to repot is my Philodendron Red. It's back there, but I do have its baby here in the window. It does need to be repotted, but hopefully it's not going to be my problem. This is its baby. And when we got this plant, my friend and I think it was maybe 3 or 4 leaves of this size. So that was in July last year. So we have this now. This is the baby of the mother plant, of that mother plant. That mother plant grew. We cut it. She kept the top, I kept the base. This is the base. That grew, and we sold a midsection of it. And it was very slow in the beginning. I'm going to put this one to the side. I'm going to try to sell that as one plant. If not, I'm going to have to cut it and propagate it. But I'm going to show you now the top cutting of that plant. Of the one mother plant with 2 or 3 tiny leaves that we got last year. It's now also living with me. Yes, it's big. It is big. It's huge. I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. This pot is obviously way too small, and I knocked it over and I broke a leaf. I'm very pissed off. You can see here, I broke a section there. And it really took a fall from the top of the cabinet. It's absolutely bone dry now, so we're gonna repot it. It's amazing how much this plant grew, which brings me back to the point, why were aroids so expensive? Like, I thought that HOYAs were fast, but this is insane how fast this is. How dare you, Tangle? When it comes to Anthuriums, I also want to get Anthurium lutheri. I think I said that in one of the videos. It's still expensive. It was around 200 euros last year, and now it's also 200 euros. The plant is bigger, so you can get a bigger size, but I don't want a bigger size, I want a small plant. So I really hope to see some baby plants of Anthurium lutheri in circulation. Last year they were small, but I guess no one bought those in that state. And there is one very funky Anthurium that was 1,000 euros last year, and it was, you know, sold as the Anthurium version of spiritus-sancti. So it was like, I think it was even 1,500 or up for auction. It was crazy. It was amazing how expensive it was. It's 140 now. I do think that's possibly somewhat a reasonable price for an Anthurium. I don't know if it's going to get lower than that or not, and I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I do like it a lot, as it has a lot of the... I really just love... I cannot get enough of these types of leaves. To me, they are vastly all different. Like, I can see a lot of difference between this and billieti. Probably a lot of people cannot. They're like, it's the same plant. It's absolutely not. They're worlds apart. But I definitely want more... I would really love to have an Anthurium with a narrow leaf. But I do think I would much rather have something like lutheri, then longissimilobum. That's the name of that one. Let me just see if I skipped someone before I repot this. There is one more, yes. This one is very cute and it kind of stays small and it looks very leathery. It is Anthurium peltigerum. Now this one kind of stayed the same. It was around 100 euros last year and it's the same this year. Actually, I think it was a bit more last year. So not much changed. Not all of them drop in price. For example, my Philodendron cherry horn, I think that plant was around 60 or 70 euros last year when my friend and I bought it. It's the same now. So that not much changed. The same size. And I don't think it's very popular. It grows really well. But I don't think it's super popular. And I don't know, maybe there aren't a lot of them around. So maybe that's why the price is the same. Not really sure. That's my wish list of Anthuriums. I don't think I'm going to get all of them in philodendrons. I don't really have any monsteras on my wish list anymore. Oh, I do have Thai Constellation. I love Thai Constellation. But other than that, no other monsteras are on my wish list. There are a lot of nice ones in my opinion, but they're still crazy expensive and I don't think that's gonna change. Is it Sierriana or something like that? I don't think that one's gonna come down. So I'm not even gonna look at them or fantasize about them. But some of these philodendrons, who knows, maybe I will get some. I'll see if I can get even a better deal than what I spotted because right now we are nearing the middle or towards the end of summer. This is it. I think I can go and water them and I'm going to put them off to the side. I do need cover pots and they're going to go back there. I'm very glad I did repot them. They've been waiting for a bit. I do have to repot some of the other ones too. Like that Anthurium Vici needs to be repotted, but again, I'm not gonna do it today. This is really all that we could do in one day, because this is also not the first video that I recorded. And I wanted to record more, but not realistic. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that video. I hope you also repotted some plants because I don't even need to tell you. When you see me repotting, you better be repotting too. Or maybe you can fold laundry. I see a lot of people do stuff like that, wash the dishes or fold the laundry. Good for you. Can you come and fold my laundry too? If you like the video and you're not subscribed to their channel, you obviously must subscribe. And we're not gonna get too much of these Aroid content videos. I'm getting lost here in my words. But you know, every now and then, we're gonna take a look at how they are doing. It's still mostly HOYA channel, don't worry. HOYAs are not going anywhere. I have so many HOYA chores that I need to do and I'm absolutely looking forward to them. Have a wonderful week and I will see you very soon. And I'm gonna go clean up now. Do I still have some coffee left? I can't get out. I would like to take some time to thank my patrons. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 3 anonymous patrons. Alex von Siebenthal, Anne Margaret Moen, Betsy Begonia, Bonnie Harris, Carrie Cynthia Taylor, Danube Daniels, Farah, Gina Geise, Housepun Heather, Hoya Heather, Jacques Planned Journey, Jessica Chio, Kayla Vavra, Kelso, Kristen Sherwood, Lauren Alexandra, Mars B, Martina, Alif Berde, Melissa Walker, Nicole Ferranti, Nicole and Caleb of Schlieve Tropicals, Nita Macy, PJ, Rachel Colette Conroy, Robin L. Jennings, Ruby, Sherry Kumar, Stephanie H2O, Spinach Geek, Tanya, TJWO, Wojtek Takach, Wendy Foreman, and Zlokov Nuponi. Also, a big thank you to my $3 patrons. Alexandra R, Angelina Farnan, Anne Margaret, Brianna Phillips, Kilone, Claudia L, David Candia, Jerry's Garden, Lisa Helling, Morgan Kennedy, Morgana Divina, Nella, Nerdy Kathy, Plantalania, Ringlov, Shayla Mason Casper, and Tang Watanas Riakul. And a thank you to my $1 patrons, Brandon Pacheco, Caroline Carey, Aaron Keenan, Lauren M, Lori Ann Subramaniam, Luzmin Fernandez, Marissa, and Paula Plants. Thank you all so much for incredible support. I hope that you still enjoyed this video even though it was about aroids. And of course I did manage to sneak in some HOYA talk in there. Let me know which of these aroids you would like to get. Stay safe and I will see you soon.